What's the biz, everyone? It's your boy Vaker Maker, aka D Inslee, and I'm here to give you some true shit. Um, so basically, those of you who follow me, you already know who I am. Like Faker Maker, I post TS 101s, I post random facts and my honest opinions on various things, whether it be anime, comic books, movies, TV shows, or even wrestling. And yeah, this is basically like my first attempt of actually, just vlogging on something wrestling related on this channel. And those, like I said, those of you who know me, y'all know how much of a huge wrestling fan I am. Been a wrestling fan. I grew up with wrestling. WWE's been pretty much a big portion of my life. Playing video games, buying action figures, watching pay-per-views, matches, all that stuff. WWE's pretty much. So yeah, I'm pretty much a hardcore wrestling fan, pretty much. All thing wrestling, WWE and stuff like that. ECW, WCW. Even I've watched a couple of TNA from here and there, but for the most part, yeah, I'm pretty much been a huge wrestling fan for as long as I can remember. And yeah, so I just wanted to. Basically, this is just me just talking about this past Sunday's Summer Slam. Um, like I said, sometimes I'll especially if you follow me on Instagram, I post just various things on when it comes to WWE and stuff like that. And normally I usually have a script for something like this, have notes and stuff for me to write down in case for me to say or whatever. But this is just totally unscripted. This is just me going off of whatever comes in my head, and just letting you know, I will not be discussing every match that happened that night, because honestly, I just kind of I skipped through all of them, pretty much most of them. I mean, I skipped through a good portion of matches that just didn't seem I was all that interested in, and I was on my network app. I just watched whatever was at the time I was interested in. So the matches I did watch, I'll tell you the matches I did watch. First off, I did watch the Intercontinental match between Seth Rollins and Dolph Ziggler. I watched Daniel Bryan versus The Miz. I watched Ronda Rousey versus Alexa Bliss, of course. I watched the triple threat match between Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, and Carmella. I even watched the Universal match, the championship match that nobody wanted to see, but they gave us it anyways, like they always do. And I saw. I'm trying to think off my head. What other matches did I watch that night? I'm pretty sure that's it. That might be it. I might be wrong. I think I already said Miz versus Daniel Bryan, I believe. But let's not forget. AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe. I watched that, and I think that's it. Nope. I keep forgetting because it was kind of it was pretty much a squash match, but Kevin Owens versus Braun Strowman, because that match had a lot of big implications and stuff. But anyways, yeah, those are the matches I watched, and I'll probably go over them very briefly. Not everyone, but just most of them, the ones that I that really were interesting to me. Thing was, I didn't actually watch the pay-per-view right away that day. I didn't watch it on the night it was happening, because at the time, keep in mind, this past weekend, actually, those of you know, I'm a cosplayer, and I go to these cosplay conventions. I just went to Anime Fest, and I was having fun, hanging out with people, doing all that stuff, and it was on Sunday, so I didn't actually watch the pay-per-view till maybe 2 or 3 days later. But anyways, I ended up watching it, and I gotta say, the Summer Slam was pretty good. It definitely whatever expectations you had from this pay-per-view as far as the matches go, they pretty much threw that out the window. Like they try to, I think they purposely did that, kind of like how WrestleMania with Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns match, like that whole the match itself and the way it ended, it was made just to really show the fan. It's like, oh, you guys think y'all know everything, but y'all really don't. Y'all don't know everything. Y'all think y'all know the outcome of every match we do. Well, like, guess what? We flip the lid on you guys and prove y'all wrong. That's how I feel like this whole pay-per-view was in its entirety. A lot of the matches didn't go exactly as planned. Now, yeah, there were a few predictable ones, but at the same time, there were a lot of surprising ones as well, and how they were done. And okay, that's enough of me rambling. But basically, yeah, I ended up enjoying this pay-per-view. I enjoyed it. Turned out better than I thought it was going to be. Let's start off with, let me see. I guess I'll just start off with the Intercontinental Championship match, because honestly, I kind of figured, I thought, and going off of what I've learned over the past few months, that rumors going around, especially with, now for instance, I was glad to see that Dean Ambrose came back. I'm really happy to see him back, and seeing he worked, he cut his hair, working out a little bit, a little cut, you know what I'm saying? But he looked pretty good. And the match itself was pretty damn good. Seth Rollins and Dolph Ziggler, they always kill it every time they're out in the ring doing their thing. And I going by what we know and stuff like that, we thought that Dolph Ziggler was going to retain the title, retain the Intercontinental Championship, but have it where it'd be like due to either interference from like a little unlikely existence from Dean Ambrose. Dean Ambrose either on accident or purposely screwing Seth Rollins the match, and then we basically see a heel turn down the line, because that's actually what was the plan months ago before Dean got injured, was that eventually he was gonna turn on Seth, and then they were going to fight each other at WrestleMania. That was from what I hear, the plan and stuff like that. And I think that's what me and a couple other people assumed that too, that we were about to see a heel turn from Dean tonight, but it ended up being not the case. Seth won the title, and him and Dean are still tight. But yeah, and that was pretty cool. That was pretty good. So I'm interested in seeing how that goes out. And especially after seeing what happened back on Monday on Raw, it kind of makes sense why they chose this route. Anyways, what else? The next one I want to talk about is, okay, let's just get down to it. The one that I don't know if this was the feud that I was mostly interested in. For the feud, the rivalry, probably the most interesting and the most developed rivalry out of all the matches. The one that a lot of people cared a lot about, that WWE put a lot of investment on, was the Daniel Bryan versus The Miz thing. Now, keep in mind, like I said, as they kept promoting, that this rivalry had been going on for like 8 years, 8 long years between Daniel Bryan and The Miz. All the way back, it dates all the way back to like when NXT was like a new thing, and Daniel had just came to the WWE and stuff like that, and he was like and The Miz was like his pro, and Daniel Bryan was looked at as a rookie in WWE standards. And ever since then, Daniel and The Miz's character, they've been at odds with each other for years. And granted, they've had matches before against each other, but this match right here at SummerSlam had such big build up to it, because like I said, for years, him and Daniel Bryan had been each other's throats, especially when Daniel Bryan had, when he after he retired and became like the general manager of SmackDown, he and Miz were at odds with each other for a while, and it really escalated during that whole promo they took they put on each other and doing the talking smack when the Miz pinch basically went off on Daniel because after Daniel called him a coward and stuff. Now, granted, like that whole promo went viral, and it pretty much, it really, not only it escalated like the popularity of talking smack, it really, in my opinion, brought Miz's character back to prominence because for a while Miz was kind of like on the, below the, but his popularity totally spiked after that promo. It really, in my opinion, revived Miz's career tenfold. Not only in just his promo work and him talking, but his matches gotten better. Now, granted, I mean, he'll never be like the, be like Seth Rollins as far as like, or Daniel Bryan when it comes to wrestling, but he does a great job. Miz always, I've always liked the Miz, and I always thought he did a great job as a heel. And ever since his whole little beef with Daniel Bryan, it really peaked his relevance back in the WWE up since then. And Miz has really done wonders for Miz's career since that promo. But anyways, ever since then, him and Miz had been at each other's throats for a while, and it looked like that's all it was going to be, just beef among each other. Because at the time, remember, Daniel, he wasn't medically cleared to compete again until earlier this year when he finally was really medically cleared, and he got to compete at WrestleMania, which was a great moment. But ever since we first found out he was medically cleared to compete, we were all saying like, oh, so we can finally see that match between him and Miz finally. And it's perfect. It's just like the story writes itself. Then you're like rivals finally competing against each other for the first time in a while. It just, the story writes itself. Daniel and Miz, like I said, even the weeks leading up to this match was pretty good too. And the match itself was pretty good. I think for the most part it kind of lived. They did the best they could at the time. Miz, Daniel Bryan, and the Miz beating the hell out of each other and stuff like that. Daniel doing what he wanted to do for months, punching Miz in the face and stuff, which was great. And of course, we had to have it where Miz. I think it was for the best to have Miz win this match, and by cheating, because then you can build up on this rivalry, which they are currently doing right now, having him win with the help of his wife Maurice, and basically now they can just go on and still a feud for a couple more weeks now, which I thought was for the best. So the match itself was pretty good. I thought it was pretty good. What else? And another one. Here's the one. Now here's the one. You know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and just talk about the main event, because honestly, this was like everyone's least the match that everyone was looking forward to the least the whole night. Because like I said, nobody wanted to see this match, because how many times we're gonna get Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar? Okay, no one really gave a crap about this whole feud to begin with. Nobody wanted to see this match back at WrestleMania, and yet we still got it. Nor did we want it to be like the last match of the card. But again, WWE, it's like they don't care. Like I just don't think they really don't care at this point, because like at this point, I mean, they knew. Now, given what did happen this past Sunday, obviously they knew what they were expecting. So. And honestly, I was kind of really pleased with how things turned out. So the match itself was super fast-paced. It wasn't a drawn-out beatdown like we got back at WrestleMania. So I'm kind of glad about that. And basically, it was just Brock Lesnar. Of course, like they were just going in and out because they knew the fans weren't really interested. Like this was, we don't want it to be a repeat from WrestleMania where people were just playing with beat balls and just ignoring the match entirely. So they added more elements to the whole thing by bringing in Braun Strowman. Now maybe I'm regretting not talking about the Braun Strowman versus Kevin Owens match prior to this, but Braun Strowman, he won his match against Kevin Owens, which what the stipulation was, if Braun Strowman got DQ'd or counted out, he'd lose, or just pinned by Kevin Owens, he'd lose his contract, his Money in the Bank contract to Kevin Owens, and that led to many people speculating that the night was gonna end off with whoever, doesn't matter who it was, between Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. Kevin Owens would cash in on whoever won that match and become the Universal Champion. That's how we all expected it would go down, because granted, it's happened before. I mean, look at, Randy Orton cashing in on Daniel Bryan after he just won the WWE title from John Cena at Summer Slam. Same thing with when Alberto Del Rio cashed it in on CM Punk after just defeating John Cena for the WWE Championship and stuff like that. And we thought that it was going to happen, but no, they averted our expectation by having the match only last for like a minute, and Braun Strowman basically just squashing Kevin Owens. And it has led to some people saying, are they burying Kevin Owens now? What's up with Kevin Owens? I don't think, honestly, on the long run, I don't see this as hurting Kevin that much, because keep in mind who he got squashed by. Braun fucking Strowman. Monster among men, who's pretty much hot today, as far as like from the popularity of the fans. So they just need to, now Kevin, he needs to find someone to feud with, have good matches with, and he'll be back on track as far as his career goes. But anyways, Braun Strowman, he announces that he's going to cash in on whoever wins the match between Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, and throughout, he's just watching Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. There's just, like I said, fast paced in the ring. At some point, Roman ends up running into Braun, and then Brock Lesnar pretty much takes out Braun with a steel chair and then with a briefcase. And then next week, Brock Lesnar gets speared by Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns wins the title, and like I said, everything was fast paced, and not, which was really clever on the writer's part, so that we don't have to dwell on the whole booings of Roman Reigns and stuff like that hard, which was, like I said, was probably was for the best, because like I said, nobody wanted to see this match to begin with, But now next match I want to go into AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe. Now that's the match that a lot of people, including me, was really looking forward to. That should have been the main event, but at the same time, given what the result of that match was, I probably was for the best that it wasn't, because it ended in in no DQ, and but the match itself was pretty great. It was pretty good. It was really good. The whole build up to it, like even I liked how like they began the match before it even started. The whole angle of the whole feud between AJ and Samoa Joe was that Samoa was talking smack about him being a terrible husband / father figure, him neglecting his family for the sake of becoming, WWE champions and stuff. And I like the whole angle, which Samoa Joe was just being a fucking savage, just talking shit and being like, look like your daddy won't be coming home, but that's okay. I'll be your new daddy. And I was like, oh shit. And then just seeing AJ Styles' reaction to that, and just tackling him down and shit, and just going ham on him, I thought it was like the match itself was great. I actually appreciate how it ended off, and I look forward to their rematch they're gonna have possibly most likely at Hell in a Cell. See how that turned out. Trying to make this whole thing really personal between the two, which is great, because Samoa Joe, he does a great job as playing that just despicable villain like character. So I'm looking forward to this to the rematch. Now Alexa Bliss versus Ronda Rousey. That was that was another feud I was really looking forward to, because one, I always liked Ronda Rousey. I've enjoyed how they've portrayed her since coming to the WWE. I think they've done a decent job so far. Granted, I still believe it was way too early for her to be in the women's title picture and having her compete against, for the title and stuff like that, or even winning the title. I still think it's way too early. She's had 3 or 4 matches now. I still think it was way too early. Honestly, I would have just waited for to have her compete for the title at WrestleMania, but WWE, they want to put asses to seats and stuff, and of course with Alexa Bliss, and I love Alexa Bliss, one of my favorite female wrestlers of today. She's great. She does a wonderful job. Best heel they got so far. And the build up for this match has been pretty decent too. It could have been better, but then again, you could say a lot of these other feuds have been. The whole build up could have been a lot better, but it's been decent. And the match, like I said, it was pretty. I think from what we had to go with, I think it was pretty good. Ronda, pretty much was dominant throughout. Because let's be real here, Ronda's a complete badass in real life. So of course, I can totally buy her doing the thing she did to poor Alexa, which it's totally believable because, like I said, Ronda's a badass. She's a former UFC champion and stuff like that. So seeing her, and of course, I like how they took advantage of the whole point of Alexa being double jointed with her arms and stuff, and making it look like Ronda was really breaking her arm, which I really, really thought was a really nice touch to it, and added to the brutality of everything. So, although, granted, I would have, like I said, I still think it was too early giving her the belt. I'm at the same time, I'm like, okay. I mean, the match itself was pretty decent, and I liked how they did it, and I think so far they've been doing a good job. I wouldn't have given her the belt this early. Other than that, I think she's doing good. She's doing good in her performance. The fans love her and stuff like that, so that's good. Now, what else I want to talk about? I think that's it. Well, except for one more match, and that's the match that I said. Now, the triple threat match between Charlotte, Becky Lynch, and Carmella. Now, I'll be honest with you, I was kind of upset. I was kind of a little irritated when I learned that this match was turning into a triple threat match, because honestly, I'd rather they just had it be a singles match between Charlotte and between Carmella and Becky Lynch, because Becky, for the longest time, I felt like she's been kind of shafted by the WWE writers. They've been pretty much screwing her up when it comes to, just winning, as far as the championship, the SmackDown Women's Championship goes. In fact, prior to this pay-per-view, when was the last time she competed for the women's belt in a pay-per-view? It's been a while, right? And Becky's one of the best ones they got so far, one of the hardest working women on that roster, and I feel like it was about fucking time they finally given her a chance to actually compete for the title. And but she, can keep in mind, for weeks she had constantly kept beating every woman that they put her in the ring with, including Charlotte, made Charlotte submit, in fact. So yeah, I was happy when she actually became number one contender, but then I was a little irritated when they decided to include Charlotte in the equation. And keep in mind, I love Charlotte. Charlotte might be like my favorite female performer on that roster right now, but at the same time, I'm like, Charlotte, she's had her time. She's had her time to shine. She beat Asuka, who for the longest time was undefeated. So I'm like, Charlotte didn't really need another. Well, I mean, yeah, she eventually will get her title run, but I was like, she can win the belt after Becky, gets some more time to shine, which I was hoping for. I was like, oh, okay. When this became a triple threat match, I was like, okay, all right, that's all right. As long as the only way I'm fine with this, as long as they give Becky the belt, have her win this match, because otherwise, if she don't, I'm gonna rage out. I'm gonna be pissed, and I'm be like, fuck this. This is some bullshit. And I feel like this would be like a total middle finger to the fans of Becky, which it kind of was. Now, the match itself was pretty decent, like I said. And of course, and we all know, Becky did not win the match. Instead, Charlotte won. And like I said, I was pretty irritated in the fact that they had Charlotte be the one to pin her. So the only reason why, like I said, the outcome of this match, the only way I'd be cool with this is if she doesn't win the belt. The only way I would be actually happy with would be sad, not be pissed off about the fact of her not winning the belt, is if they have it where she has to have a heel turn. Because I'm like, that's the only way I can see her not winning the match and not having it piss me off. Because I was like, Becky should have won that match. She deserved that win. She deserved the W. So I was like, oh, come on, what are you doing? So she loses so Charlotte wins the belt, and Becky, she basically turns on Charlotte. And honestly, at the same time, I was like, but honestly, a part of me kind of like, I kind of wish they didn't do that. I kind of wish they didn't have her do the heel turn, because honestly, as much as I say like heel turns have improved a lot of people's career, it doesn't always work. It doesn't always work with everybody, because look at like Dolph Ziggler. You know, as soon as he went, yeah, he was on a losing streak, and then when he became a heel, guess what? He kept going on a losing streak, and he kept just jobbing to other superstars and shit. So I was like, I'm like, a part of me kind of like, or like Shinsuke Nakamura, despite him going heel, he at the end of the day, he didn't win the WWE title belt. I mean, yeah, he's the United States champion now, but I honestly felt like he should have just won the belt from AJ Styles, to be perfectly honest. So I'm a little worried. I'm like, are they going to do the same thing with Becky and just have her keep losing? Like, I'm okay with her going heel as long as they really like spike up her character and really do push her and have her be a much more credible threat. You know, honestly, I rather they just had her win the match and just win the championship. I would have rather they just done that instead. But we'll wait and see. See how this whole heel turn, seeing how much this is going to change her character up and everything. I'm curious to seeing how this is going to go, because like this whole Becky going heel thing has been it's been talked about a few times among the community and stuff like that. So seeing it actually happen to fruition, I'm curious to see how it turns out. Like I said, I'd rather just given her the belt. You know, stay a baby face and stuff like that. But we'll wait and we'll see. And then have Charlotte become a heel, because, you know, I thought Charlotte did a decent job as a heel too during her time on Raw. You know, they would just play that off. But we'll just wait and see what happens. But yeah, that's just my opinion. I just wanted to give my opinion on the whole, you know, everything I saw. And so yeah, comment below what do you guys think? What do you thought of the matches? Who do you wish had won certain matches and stuff like that? And hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll definitely be doing more wrestling related videos like these, but a little less cringy, hopefully, and not this lengthy. But we'll wait and see. But enjoy this video. Be sure to like and subscribe. And that's it. Stay beast.